notes afterwards for those of you who couldn't make it or have to head out early. The real idea behind EV Hub is to serve as a one-stop shop for the policy community. We're really trying to empower the entire transportation electrification community, from industry, business, to NGOs, and to policymakers in local, federal government. As we know, there's a ton of relevant that data related to EVs and EV policy is generally very disaggregated, hard to use, hard to find. And so the real idea behind EV Hub is bringing that data together, making it usable, making it easily visualized for the policy community. Again, we built EV Hub. I know we have both, if you're already EV Hub member, that's awesome. I know we have a lot of people who are new to EV Hub here today as well. Find us at atlasevhub.com down below. Who all is on EV Hub? Again, like I said, we started in 2017. Since then, we're up to over 1,200 users from 49 different states and over 600 organizations. We are still missing North Dakota, so if you know anybody there, get in touch. Like I said, we have a very diverse audience spanning private sector, public sector, and nonprofit sector. We're roughly pretty evenly split between those three groups. And like the EV market, we've seen pretty explosive growth so far in 2021, with nearly 400 new members so far, and we're expected to continue to grow as this space really takes off. We have a ton of features. We're not going to be able to touch on all of these today, but I wanted to just put this up here as a quick overview of everything that we have on offer. Again, this spans public policy data, technology deployment, as well as some research and tools and community features as well. Moving forward, sorry, I see someone's having some issues seeing slides. I'm gonna make a small adjustment here. Hopefully that fixes things. We're gonna see a few of these in action today. Again, if you have any questions about EV Hub, you can always reach us at info@atlasevhub.com. We have very receptive customer support staff, mainly Tom and I taking care of that. So again, that's EV Hub. Without further ado, I do want to go ahead and jump into the website, which I know is kind of why you all are here today. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate over to Atlas EV Hub. So let me know, Tom, is that up and running for people?
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay, sweet. So this is our homepage. This is where we post kind of all our latest news, digest, data stories, where you can stay up to date on all the new happenings. EV Hub is primarily composed of various dashboards covering different areas of transportation electrification. We're going to start out, we're going to go ahead and jump over into our automakers dashboard, which is one of our principal dashboards on the market side. You can find all the resources for EV Hub under these main drop downs at the top. Our automakers dashboard is our center for all things related to vehicle manufacturers. That covers EV sales, as well as policy commitments and investments, facility investments as well. So here's our dashboard. This is what a Power BI dashboard looks like. They're very powerful if you know how to use them, but can be a little complicated to get around at the beginning. So there's a lot of cool features in Power BI. For example, clicking on things, there's what we call active filters. It's easy to check it, to navigate in back and forth in the dashboard. So let's say we're interested in Stellantis, for example. You can see Stellantis has had, a big uptick so far in 2021. Can easily filter for them, and now we're looking exclusively at Stellantis sales so far. Let's say we wanted to get a little more granular look. We can use what we call a drill down or a drill up in all of these dashboards. It's available at the top right of these visuals. Can drill down and check out monthly sales. Scrolling over, you can see, huge growth in 2021. If we want to back up a little bit, we can use our drill up to go all the way back to yearly sales. Another cool feature here that we can use is you can also drill down on manufacturers. So here we can drill down so that we're no longer viewing cumulative sales by manufacturer. We're now looking at it by model. And here you can see a few different Stellantis ones. If we wanted to, in addition to active filters, we have a more comprehensive filter bar over here. So we can use this filter bar to come down and filter by Stellantis here. So that effectively accomplishes the same thing. And now we can see the Stellantis sales split by model. We can see it's led by the Pacifica, followed by Wrangler and the Fiat. Again, you can use active filters, and we can see, huge growth in the Wrangler, whereas, the Pacifica and the Fiat have been, more steady. So let's say we want to get a more in-depth look here. We have these little buttons that we call bookmarks that let you navigate between different pages on the dashboard. So if we check out a deep dive on sales here, we can go ahead and jump into our, a different look that's a little more in depth in terms of looking at EV sales. On this page, we also have state level sales. So this can be really helpful in terms of looking at, what are some of the underlying factors driving, Stellantis' strong growth in 2021. We can go look at, okay, what does that look like in California? Sorry. So we're now looking at California Stellantis EV sales. And we can see, in each quarter, we can look at, sales by model and look at how that's, reflected differently across quarters. Let's say we want to, look over at Texas. In Texas, we can see, even stronger Wrangler sales recent years. If we want a more, a broader look, again, we can pop up using the drill up feature and find, yearly sales by state. Let's say you want to conduct some more in-depth analysis on your own. All of our visuals allow you to export the underlying data here using the 3 dots in the top right. So here we can export that into either an Excel or a CSV if you have, the software of choice that you like to use for your visualizations. We can go ahead and export that, and now I have an Excel just downloaded, ready to work with. Again, that's pretty much every visual has these 3 dots in the top right where we can export all of that data. Let's say we want to jump back to the home page. We have this convenient drop down in the top right of most of our dashboards. We can jump back and forth between our different options. So here we're not back on the home page. As you can see, we're still filtering for Stellantis. Most of our dashboards also have an easy reset view button in case you get confused with different filters and views that you've put on. So using that reset view jumps you back to the original view of the dashboard. In addition to sales on the automaker's dashboard, you scroll down, we have models that's both currently on offer and upcoming models. And again, we have, like sales, a deep dive page here. On the EV strategy side, this is covering automakers' investments in EV facilities, as well as commitments to electrification, carbon neutrality, et cetera. Like some of those that were made at COP yesterday, we're working today on getting those added into this dashboard. Again, this is a very manual data collection process that Atlas staff put a lot of hours into. Make that save transportation electrification community time on aggregating and sorting through all of this data. Okay, so that is on the that's kind of our principal market dashboard focused on automakers, sales, models, investment commitments. Let's jump over to the policy side and check out our state policy dashboard. This is a new dashboard that we launched earlier this year, focused on aggregating data on enacted policies, proposed legislation, public funding, and public requests at both the state and federal level. So here we are on our homepage, where you can see we have a high-level view of enacted policies and proposed legislation. Again, this looks a lot like our automakers dashboard. It's just presenting different data. All the same features apply. Let's say we're interested in, I know Virginia just had, an unfortunate governor changeover. It'll be interesting to see kind of what happens on EV policy there, as they've been, a leader in recent years. So if we want to see what, the policy landscape in Virginia has been, under previous governor, here we've just now filtered by Virginia by clicking on the state, and we're now seeing enacted policies and proposed legislation over the past 12 months. And you can see it's been a really active, policy session in Virginia. Here we have, again, a table of all of those with quick links to all of the sources. Could also be interesting on requests and public funding to see what that's looked like for Virginia recently. So we can pop into our public funding deep dive using these buttons. We can also use this drop down at the top, similar to the automaker's dashboard. If we want to go look at public funding, do it that way just to switch it up. So we're now looking at public funding across the US for electric vehicles, as well as all funding under the VW settlement. So if we look at Virginia, we can see that they've poured a ton of money into electric vehicles in recent years, with more than $75 million funding, and almost all of that going to EVs specifically. This is another, crucial area of investment, is looking at, how those VW funds are getting spent. Could be interesting to kind of compare that to nationwide. So let's, get rid of that filter. I can click on it again, and we're now looking at the whole picture of the US. I'm going to come down into the filter bar and look at just the VW settlement. So we're now looking at just VW funding. We've tracked just over $1 billion awarded. And as you can see, we have roughly 55% of that going to EVs so far. Look at Virginia, we have, 98% going to electric vehicles. So again, that's, potentially a reflection of Virginia's policy environment being very favorable for electric vehicles. I know a lot of people in the community are also interested in ongoing options or ongoing requests and ongoing funding. So we can pop over to the request page, where we're tracking active RFPs, RFIs, and public comments. Again, if you're actively looking out to go get money, you're going to want to look specifically at open requests, not historic ones. And you can come down here, and this is a full list of open public requests where states are. You can see right now, Virginia is looking for proposals for clean school buses. If you want to, take all of these back to your team, again, you can export that data. It's just summarized data, export it as an Excel, and now I have that ready to go. That is our, you can pop really quickly into our policy analysis page, but I do want to keep it moving. On our policy analysis page, you can see we've tracked more than 40 different policy categories, ranging from incentives to ACT rule to plans, targets, goals. So this is a really powerful dashboard with a lot of data. We can check out here. This is states that are looking at adopting California's advanced clean truck rule. You can see again, you have an easy visual as well as a description of all of those policies. Down here at the bottom, we're overlaying key data points such as EV sales and charging deployment to look at how different policies may have affected the market over time. So keep it moving. Those are our two kind of primary dashboards. As you saw the slide earlier, there's a ton of other data available on EV Hub. A couple exciting areas we've recently added would be work that Tom has really been leading on the two federal bills under consideration right now between the Reconciliation Bill and the Infrastructure Act. And we've been going through and tracking, as new versions come out, all of the EV provisions there. And so if you're interested in kind of what money might be on the horizon on the federal level, these two pages are going to be really helpful for you. Again, we have the Reconciliation Bill and the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, which just passed, all available here. As we're updating these, we're also often sending out, covering them in our weekly digest, which we highly recommend you subscribe to. Every Monday, we send out a little digest covering, the most exciting, relevant news related to EVs, just to keep you all in the know. In addition, we're moving more and more into medium and heavy duty vehicle electrification, where we're seeing a lot of action picking up. So we recently added medium and heavy duty vehicle registrations dashboard, as well as some key research on that. So we have stock data and vehicle registration data for class 2B to 8 medium heavy duty vehicles by state, by vehicle type, by class, and by ACT category. Again, there's a ton of data here we can't get into right now, but I know a lot of you are kind of actively interested in working in that sector. So again, check out, that's our new MDHD dashboard here. We are running a little, well, we want to leave some time for questions here. So let me go ahead and pop back here, Tom, and we can quickly cover a few things on the horizon for EV Hub that we're really excited about. Number one is we didn't get to touch on it today, but we do track utility filings related to transportation electrification. And so whenever a utility files to invest some amount of money in various EV transportation electrification programs, we are tracking all of those. And we recently started tracking their progress reports, because they're often mandated to put out a report on the progress they made in the program. And so we're actively developing a dashboard to follow that. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I was just going to say there's a couple of questions that have come through in the chat, so I can raise them with you and then see if anyone else has questions. So one, question was, do you track policies related to EV charging, parking requirements, and state building codes for multi-family buildings? That's a bit of a long one, but and then I'll give you a second to. And the other question is, can you filter to tell which programs are open versus closed?
Yeah, I feel like I closed down a little early so we can pop back in. So we're back on the state policy dashboard here. Under our policy categories, building codes would be where you could find parking space requirements for commercial multifamily buildings. So again, I encourage you to check out this list. We're tracking a ton of different things, so it's very likely that they're going to be under there. So here you can see all the different building codes we're tracking that are requiring EVSE spaces. And the second question, Tom, was on public requests, correct? As far as how we can tell if they're open or not.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so we do have a flag on if they're open or not. You can filter real easily just clicking here, or you can again use the filter bar and set that request open filter to yes, so that you're only looking at ones that are still accepting applications. I would also add that every Tuesday we send out a public request reminder that goes out to anyone who's subscribed to that and covers all of the currently open public requests that we're tracking. So you just get that in your inbox as opposed to having to check out the website.
Next, Spencer, I don't know if you saw this one, but Laurie's just asked, can you show the MDHD dashboard again?
We can jump into the MDHD dashboard. Sure. Are there other questions that are
a
little quicker?
Yep. So there's a question from Susan. Do you track states' electrification efforts, RFIs, RFPs, etc., even if the state doesn't have relevant supporting legislation?
Yeah, we're tracking everything that's as far as RFIs and RFPs, anywhere where there's money available, we're tracking that. In terms of our policies, we're not strictly tracking legislation. That includes kind of softer goals and targets set through EOs or other frameworks. Even some we track MOUs, for example. So that is definitely not strictly legislative mandates that we're tracking. And I just pulled up again the MDHD dashboard. I know we went pretty quickly, but so we have, this is medium heavy duty vehicle stock as of 2019. So this is like a snapshot of what's on the road. We can check out if we want to look at what we have in terms of electric MDHDs on the road. We do have that option here. You can see it's dominated by California and by buses. But again, this is, really cool data that we're hoping advocacy community can put to work. In addition, we have new registrations from 2019 to present. So this top area is a snapshot of 2019. And then this is what has been registered since then. We don't know turnover necessarily, so we kind of have to parse it out in this way. But it's pretty interesting to see what has gotten, what's getting put on the road here in recent quarters.
Spencer, while you're there, Susan's asking if school buses are broken out.
School buses are, I can look into that. It really depends on how they're classified. It can be pretty challenging to split that out, given that, based on the chassis or the the vehicle model. It could be used for a school bus or other things. So that's something we're working on refining. We really just got this data and wanted to make it available as soon as possible, but we're definitely working on kind of refining that MDHD dashboard. I do want to bring it back here as we're right about at 30 minutes. I know that was a jam-packed session. Again, we're always available here for you all to reach out at info@atlasevhub.com with any questions. We also have on our website, there's a little chat button in the bottom right where you can always reach us really easily. I also wanted to do a really quick promo for Atlas Buildings Hub, which is a new website that we just launched. That is building on our success with Atlas EV Hub and focused specifically for the building decarbonization community. So I know a lot of you potentially work broadly on climate and know how important buildings are to the larger climate picture. So it's another area where we are looking to expand, this one with an entirely new website. With that, I think we're going to wrap it up here. Again, please, Tom just dropped our email in the chat, so please shoot us an email with any questions you may have. Always happy to help, and we're going to be looking forward to holding these more often going forward. So if you joined late or have other people that you think would be interested in EV Hub, have them join next quarter. Looking forward to it. Thank you all for joining. Thanks for being part of EV Hub, and until next time. Thank you.